Hi, welcome to the coaching game. I'm Laurie Lawson, and next door to me is
Yoffe, coaches creating change. I can't believe we're in December, the end of the year, and I can't even tell you where this year went.
I can't either. And I really said, "Oh my gosh, it's just gonna be so slow because nothing's going on, and how are we gonna use the time?" And it's like December. We're really in December. It is
I
just
know,
totally amazing.
I know. And we've been doing this Zoom thing for how long now? A year and a half?
I think going on almost 2 years, yeah, because the
Really?
studio closed down, immediately as soon as COVID came out, which thank heavens, that's good.
Right.
And then they've opened it up a bit here and a bit there, but not necessarily the studio we use. So here we are, zooming
Here
away.
we are in our own little studios.
Yes, yes, we have improvised, and
And
that's
yet side by side.
I like it. I like it a lot. That's kind of what we wanted to talk about today. It's like improvisations that we made and how we feel the coaching world is adjusting and how we're adjusting, and just maybe like a little look back and then a little glance to the future there. We've all made some changes, but we feel that the coaching industry is making some changes too, and that's a part of who we are. So we wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, and it's a great, I think, end of year wrap up to talk about, what's wanted and needed in the coaching world. I mean, from my perspective and from your perspective, and there was an article recently in November in the Sunday Times, and it was called "Career Coaches Tell Clients to Seek Thyself." Now, you can take a lot out of it. You can delete whatever doesn't interest you, but it's about the overall message of what are clients looking for, especially in these past 2 years. And I also had the privilege of listening to a gentleman by the name of Scott Barry Kaufman. He wrote a book, I think, called Transcendence, and he took on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but he refined it. And what I got out of his talk was people are looking for purpose, and which this article also refers to and alludes to. People are looking for purpose and fulfillment. That seems to be a priority, and not striving so much for money, success, even happiness.
Mhm.
So I don't know. That's my lead. What's your take, Laurie?
Well, no, and I think there also that it used to be status. It was like, oh, I need to climb that ladder and get as high as I can, and then make as much money as I can, and
Mhm.
um, but come 2020, the rules changed. There were no rules. We were all kind of shifting around and going, well, what are we going to do? And after we got over the initial shock, it was like, how can we alter what we're doing? And in the business world, of course, it was like, how can we work without getting together? And they adapted that. In the coaching world, it was like, what do we coach now? It used to be career or relationships or business development, and suddenly they did not hit the priority mark anymore. They were up there, but they were not at the top. And I think at the top was, it's like, who am I? Who am I? And what do I do without all these definitions around me? The
Label.
title,
I like it.
yeah, the labels, yes, exactly. Who am I and what do we do? And meanwhile, coaches are trying to figure that out and help their clients do the same thing. But I agree with you, the priority has definitely changed. And I think the coaching world has, I'm going to say, expanded, because what we didn't think of before, or what our clients thought wanted before, they don't know, but we're encouraging them, dream big. This is your opportunity because the rules are certainly gone. So dream big. So that's my take on it. It's like it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. It's an what is that? It's not a comfort zone, but that's where the growth takes place. So that's kind of where I see the coaching world going.
Yeah, it's not that it's good or bad. It's I think to be a coach that's worth something, you can't follow one modality. Like if you are stuck in this is how I coached and this is how I have to continue to coach because this is the right way to coach, you're in for a rude awakening because the playbook is thrown out the window. There's no roadmap now for how do we coach clients. I don't care whether you're an executive coach, a business coach, career coach, a relation, whatever. I'm thinking that even companies, coaches that go into companies, they do have mandates, but I think it's also about who is this person? You know, what are their inner needs? I know when I work with clients, one of the questions I talk about or ask is, what are your core values? And it's being in alignment with your core values. As you said, Laurie, these labels that we all have attached to ourselves, they can be taken away. Oh, I'm a millionaire. Oh, I'm an executive. Oh, I'm a this, I'm a that. They all can be gone in a heartbeat. We've seen that. But core values are what do you truly believe in within yourself? And my philosophy is if your core values are not in alignment with what you're doing, with who you're with, any of the other, then you are out of alignment. And that doesn't bode well for an individual because you already can start to see that. People are unhappy in their work and they don't understand why. And when you dig in, what you see is, oh, well, you know, I want to be a marketing person, but I'm a, you know, bean counter, you know, well, that's not, you know, not in alignment with what somebody wants or how they want to show up. So that's very important. And that's part of, I think, the philosophy of what's going on.
That's some good points that you made. First of all, in alignment, there was a box and there was a parameter, and now even the lines of the alignment have changed. You know, we used to know, oh, okay, well, here's the way to go, and here's some possibility. Anything's possible now. That's so obvious to so many people, and as people are as we're trying to help people figure out what is in alignment to them, you also have to assist them in expanding their viewpoint, which is, okay, I am a female and this is my role, and I am a mother and this is my role. Suddenly mothers became teachers and fathers became housemen, and there are no roles, and that's it makes it exciting, and yet it makes it just very difficult. And I think that we have to meet the client where they are. If the client says, oh my God, I've been waiting for this opportunity all my life, the rules are gone, I can be what I want. Or if they're slowly breaking through the thoughts of like, well, I can be a little bit more, or I can even be happier at being a little bit less. I don't need that title. I don't need that salary. I think we have to meet them there and really say, what do you want? Which way do you want to go? Do you want to pair up? Do you want to pair down? What's going to make you, like you say, what's going to meet your core value? What's going to make you content and happy and peaceful during these times of, now we're back into chaos again. So what's gonna do it for you? And your points are beautiful on that. It's like, yeah, that's our role now, and it changed. It was before name a niche, and that's who you coach. Yeah, there are no niches now. And there are people out there dealing with stuff that they never had to deal with before. How to be an at-home dad, and just things like that. And then, or how to work but not have the peer pressure and the leadership, right in the same room with you. How do you do that? How do you self-discipline? Just so many things that
Right.
we personally are learning, and hopefully we're helping our clients learn too.
Yes, I agree. And I think that for me, the more I learn about myself and my own challenges and my own ways, I think it opens the lens for me to be better at being a coach. Um, and I think that for executives, it's a shift, it's a new paradigm for them in needing to be more caring, more human, more vulnerable. That's never been the role of an executive. Um, and now with, this whole great rethinking and resignation and whatever, there's multitudes of reasons why people are leaving. One is retirement. One is, working from home. One is rethinking what they want. They've had the time. And it's not only about the money. It's about, work environment. It's about, am I going to be heard? What am I going to learn? What type of environment do I want to work in? Does it toxic? Do I have to tolerate toxic anymore? So again, it's been these 2 years, people have had the opportunity, not by their choice, but just by chance of what has taken place, to rethink and to come up with other ideas of what's important to them. And, I think as coaches, it's not necessarily now about, gee, how do I get better at my career? How do I jump the ladder? How do I do whatever from an outer perspective? It's about, how do I come to these people? How do I show up? What kind of values do I have? Am I being more humane? Am I exhibiting more emotional intelligence, that people want to work in my environment?
It's so interesting because, and I don't have the statistics, but right now, more people than ever are quitting their jobs. They're just, and unemployment is outrageous and nobody seems to care. It's like, well, I'm sorry, some people care, of course, but there are so many jobs available no matter, and I've recently traveled to Maryland and Delaware, and no matter where you go, there's a help wanted sign out there. Businesses have decreased what they can do because of the lack of staff, and
Right.
or they don't open as many days. So I'm not sure the message is getting to some executives or companies or leadership. It's so interesting though, you mentioned emotional intelligence, and it's almost like this has been prepping for this all along. Emotional intelligence came along and that became the buzzword. And then coaches have been out there the whole time going, let us help, let us help. We can build a team together, and we can build a team that'll be happy and they want to stay and they're proud. And it's all kind of coming together. Now is the time that all these things are being needed by, they need to be aware of the management, and the leadership people need to be aware of it. And I think the workers, or for lack of a better word, the employees they're going, I'm not getting what I want. I'm not getting what's going to make me feel whole. I'm not getting that. And there's a gap. And I think coaching is one of the ways that they're going to bridge that gap. And I'm not sure if it's going to be for the employee or the employer, but
Maybe both.
here we are. Call on us.
You're right. Exactly. It's not putting a career, on the side. it's figuring out, how do I align with this career?
Right.
You know, is it purposeful for me? Because in a lot of cases, people would drudge off to work because they had to, or it made them money, or and they didn't like what they were doing. Yet they forged through it. And I'm not saying all of that is gone, because this is not a fair world. And not everyone has the luxury or the option of quitting a job and saying so long. And let's be clear, as Matt Varney said in something I just read, we're not all in the same boat. We may all be in the same storm, but we're not in the same boat. And that's true.
That's a good point.
So, the 4.4 million in September or whenever it was that left their jobs, that's not everybody.
Mm-mm.
Um,
But it's more than it usually is. I mean, there's
Yes,
some
that's
kind of
true.
little revolution going on there.
right. But,
Just cool.
when you think about when people have no choice and they've got to feed a family and put a roof over their heads and blah, 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 no, they can't afford to just say so long. However, there is an employee marketplace. So with an employee marketplace, companies have to figure out, have to retain the good talent they have and fill the slots that are empty. And what do they have to offer? More money, benefits, emotional currency is what people are looking for. Will I be heard? Will I be listened to? Is there room for advancement? What kind of people am I going to be working with or for? So there's a shift in the questions, in the type of work, but it is an employee marketplace.
You can see that Amazon has a new ad out, and I look at it and go, really? And it's like, people go, well, I can work, but I can only do 2 hours a day, and the sun has to shine, and I want you to pay for and they're going, yes, we have a position for you. And going, wow, really? That's changed from when I was working out there in the
Right.
world.
Well,
I was like, oh, okay. So yes, you're absolutely right. And the Lord knows if anybody's going to adapt first, it's going to be Amazon. They seem to have a head start on everything. But so yeah, that's absolutely it. But remember, we were Terry and I both attended ICF Converge 21, and the final keynote speaker was talking about artificial intelligence and how it's here to stay, and it's not anything to necessarily fear, but you have to accept it and adapt it to, and that could just mean, rather than showing up at work, you're going to have Zoom meetings and things like that. But what one of his points was how to keep up with the pace that's going. One was, don't do work, design work. And that's kind of what you were saying. It's like, design your work to meet your needs, as Terry says, your core values, and the needs of your family and the needs of whatever, but design your work as much as you can. Now, in some cases, like you said, Terry, that's just not possible. But when it is possible, design it. And then a wise move for employers would be, hey, let these people design their work. He also made an example of, rather than say to a bunch of millennials who are out there working now and probably won't be there in 5 or 10 years, because job stability and hanging in there till you retire is a thing of the past, and they like to move on and expand. And if you want them to build a bridge, don't say we're going to build this bridge in 10 years. Let them be a part of the process. And it's like, we need to get across the water. How are we going to design this? And that's kind of what there's several changes, but it's like, people want to be a part of it now. It's like, whoa, I can't sit on the sidelines and wait till I retire. I can't wait for Medicare. who knows? Nothing's guaranteed anymore. So I think those are two interesting points that he made. It's just like design your work, if you can. And employers will let them design their work. You'll get far more productivity that way.
You're right. People are looking for different.
Yeah.
It's like coaching. They're looking for different.
Yeah.
They don't want a coach that's going to be the question man, and constantly throw out questions
Yeah.
and have the client just answer them. I mean, they want interactive. They want
Partnership.
a coach, a partnership. That's exactly right.
And that was what ICF,
Partnership.
yeah, ICF has been pushing that for the last couple of years. Partner with the client, rather than, yeah, you have all the answers, I'm going to ask all the questions. I never thought that worked. It's like, you got to have an interaction of some
Right.
kind.
And if you have a thought, for me, what I do is I ask the client, might I give you a story or a scenario or some of my own thoughts? So you get permission, and then I try to bring up something in my past that might align with what's going on with this person, so they can see, maybe make a connection, maybe it lands, maybe it doesn't. But giving them thoughts. You certainly can't tell them to go off in this direction or that direction, but you can guide them and work with them to maybe help them figure out, this really isn't the right road for me. After going through and talking about it, now I can see this isn't what I should be doing.
You brought up a good point about telling your story. And before it was like, nobody cares your story. Concentrate on the client. It's not about you. But you mentioned vulnerability, and it's like, I don't think coaches, clients want someone who goes, oh, I breezed through the last year and I adapted and I did this and I did that. It's like, no, I don't think they want that. I don't think we have to have all the answers. We never did, but we kind of felt like we had to. It's like, oh, I really should know at least the next question to ask. I think there's a partnership. Again, there's a partnership, and with that partnership comes, whoa, vulnerability. What the heck's been going on, and what changes have we made? And yeah, if you've got a story that you can relate to the client and it makes sense, great. Rather than think, oh, the next question should be. And I think telling your story and being vulnerable is there was another session. I had fun at Converge 21. It's another session where it was like work with what you have, and that includes the lightness and the darkness, the shadows.
Right.
Shadows, the things you try to keep secret, and the things that didn't work.
Mhm.
And a favorite quote of mine was from Lady Gaga, of all people, who said, if you don't have any shadows, you're not standing in the light. And it's like, everybody's got shadows.
Of
So
course.
go ahead and use them,
Yeah.
or at least
Right.
use them for empathy, if for nothing else. It's like, oh yeah, I understand, and I'm not going to gloss over this. This might need some more deep probing. So
Right.
let me deal with that with the client. So yeah, we're becoming more vulnerable. We're becoming more, I don't want to say human. We were always human, but more I don't know, I can't think of the word, but more
More
compatible to other parts.
vulnerable is a good word, yes.
Yeah.
Also, more of ourselves. We always had this, facade.
Authentic. That's it.
Authentic, right,
Yeah.
that's the word, right.
Yeah.
Not that people didn't think you were authentic, but when you're willing to open yourself up to a client, it makes them connect with you more, and they feel safer
Yes. Yes.
when they know they're not dealing with a mask, or, well, I'm the coach, but a real live person that understands their frailties, understands their mistakes, their failures, if you will, where they're at,
Right.
and can help them, because that the coach has gone through it and come out the other side with a very wonderful story about themselves. That, look, I mean, I for sure struggled a lot in my life. I mean, nothing came easy for me. And I got fired a few times, and it's about being resilient, getting back up, and finding my way and not wallowing. And so, I think each coach brings a lot of that, hopefully, to their clients.
There are so many coaches out there now, and I
Yes.
do some mentee work, and I tell my mentees, bring it all to the table. Whatever you've got on a personal, bring it all to the table. That's going to make you stand out. You may not be for everybody, but you don't want to be for everybody. You're going to just bring that, everything you're talking about, your failures, your successes, your get ups, your fall downs, whatever you got to bring it to the table. It makes you special and unique. And as you say, authentic. And if you were a coach who judged, no more, because there are no judges anymore. That we don't know right and wrong, and there's no good or bad. And I know you corrected me before, and you're right. And it just is. It's like, take it from where it is and move along with that. And
without labels.
Where do you want to be? Yeah.
Right. Without labels. Labels.
Yes.
Bring up emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And people buy into those emotions. Oh, I'm overwhelmed. Oh, I didn't do good. Well, those are emotional words that people get trapped into.
And I hope that those boundaries have blurred. It's like, this is the good line and this is the bad line. I think that I think 2020 was a big eraser. It's like, let's give it all this, each side. Well, I wish we'd gotten rid of the political unrest with each side, but we're working on it, one person at a time. That's the coaching motto. We're going to change the world one person at a time.
And we're looking to 2022.
I know. I know. Amazing.
Laurie, I just want to say, you've got red on and there are green behind you. You are all ready for Christmas with your red and green.
I wish that were true in real life, but it's not. But I do want to say, we've got like 20 seconds left. Terry and I will be back again in January, and bringing up whatever we think is an appropriate path. Exactly. It has been such fun working with you this year, Terry. I'm so glad we're going to continue it next year.
I feel the exact same way, Laurie. And to everybody that listens, a very happy, healthy new year. Here's to a good year.
Absolutely.
Laurie, love you, Laurie.
Love you too. Bye-bye. Bye.